Hey everyone, it's Ironer here of the Iron Gaming Channel, and I know I wasn't going to talk about any kind of serious things for a while, but I just couldn't help it because I felt like this was something that seriously needed to be discussed and is important as a human to be able to talk about and as humanity to be able to talk about. But can we talk about rape just for a second here? And I know you probably got a really sick feeling in your stomach hearing that, as I did in my chest. Now, there's all kinds of different versions of rape. There's, rape when somebody got into having sex with somebody and then they decide they just didn't want it anymore and then just stopped right then and there. There's rape as far as molestation goes, which is out without going to full penetration. There's rape as far as drugs are involved. And it's a very sick and disgusting thing. And it's one of those things where you really gotta wonder why a human being, why another person in this world could be so sick and disgusting to do that to another human being. Another person's life, to ruin another person's life by forcing that kind of sick and demented control over them. And it's a very disgusting and horrible thing. And a lot of people like to say it's all about control. But no, I think if you do that, you're beyond reasonable thinking. I think you're beyond any kind of sympathy, any kind of just thinking about another person at all. Because there's a fine line between thinking you can take advantage of another human being and then being a human being yourself. There's a very fine line. And when you cross that line, you're no longer human in my mind. I honest to God feel that if you're a rapist, you should be executed. Now, I know there's going to be some of those who are like, well, what about the people who were charged who didn't really know what they were doing or, didn't really realize what they were doing? I don't know in that case. But if you forcibly and willingly forced yourself on another human being, whether you be female, whether you be male, whether you be, transgender, whether you be anything, you deserve to be killed. And here's my logic for it. People who rape are not only traumatizing that person and ruining a small part of their life, but they're developing a trust issue into that person's mind where they're going to have a hard time trusting anyone. And it's sick. It's disgusting. And it should be acknowledged. As much as I didn't want to talk about this video, I feel like it's important to get that message out there. Rape is not a nice thing. Rape is not a fucking okay thing. Rape is not okay under any circumstances. I don't give a shit if you drug the person. I don't give a shit if you're molesting a person. I don't give a shit what you thought you were doing. Rape is not okay under any circumstances. Murder is taking the life of another person. Rape is ruining any kind of life that person could have. Ruining any kind of meaningful relations that person can have, because it's always going to be in the back of their head. And there's some sick fucks who know that and get a kick out of that. And it's wrong. It is fucking disgusting. And now some of you may wonder why I'm making a video on this. Well, any of you who hasn't been living under a rock recently may have heard about the Brock Turner case. Brock Turner was a shit-faced little fucking prick who deserves to have his fucking skull bashed in. And I'm not condoning violence against this person, but I am saying that he deserves it exponentially. Now, don't go ahead and say that I told you to go ahead and do it, so you can have me charged, because I'm not saying you should go out and enact any kind of violence on anyone in this video. So keep that in mind with this video. But Brock Turner is someone who grew up in a very, very good privileged life. And now I'm not going to go all SJW and say, oh, white people do this because they're privileged, or, all rich people are fucking monsters, because they're not. There's some good people who actually do some good in the world with money. And, me and my cousin were actually joking about how in Ferguson, if someone would have showed up there with paintball guns and gave it to the protesters, which, keep in mind, is a non-violent way of handling things, and had them shoot the police in their headgear, that they would have had to have taken their headgear off and would not have resorted to violence in Ferguson the way they did. I felt that would have been a more peaceful way of diluting the situation, but standing your ground at the same way. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and do that, but I'm saying that I believe there's a fine line between peacefully handling things and standing your ground. And Brock Turner is one of those sick fucks that doesn't deserve any kind of privilege that the system can give him at all. Because not only did he fucking rape someone, but he raped someone behind a dumpster in a fucking alley while they were drugged. And decided to think, 20 minutes of action isn't worth, 6 months in jail. You're not hearing me wrong. This sick fuck only got charged with 6 months in jail. And there are some of you who are going to say, oh, well, big deal, whatever. What if it was your daughter? What if it was your sister? What if it was your mother? Would you still be saying it then? Because you know what? Sick fucks will rape anyone if they want to at the time. Think about that before you bitch about saying, oh, why is this a big deal? That could have been your daughter. That could have been your mother. That could have been your sister, your cousin, your aunt, anyone that's close to you. Think about that the next time you jump to defend this sick fuck. Now, our system is a very two-tiered system, and I'm very ashamed to admit that I've come to realize that. You got the kid who ran over multiple people and didn't serve hardly any time because he had affluenza. You got Brock Turner, who rapes a woman and only gets 6 months in jail. Oh, and as an added bonus, they're going to lower his sentence to 3 months. Yeah. Think about that for a second. You got an unarmed black man who gets arrested and serves years in prison, years in jail. And you get this sick fuck who has a little bit of power, a little bit of money, who only serves 3 months in jail for rape. A crime that I consider worse than murder. A crime I consider worse than anything. And I hope you do too. I really do. If it was up to me, I would say they should take everyone who's molested a kid, everyone who's raped someone, everyone who's committed a sexual crime on par with molestation or higher, and throw them in fucking prison to rot and die with no food, no water, nothing. And I want you to lot them all together so they can rape each other to death. Because you know what? This is fucking wrong. And when our government decides it's going to get its shit together with these sick fucks, that is when I believe things will turn around in this country. When we start putting our fucking foot down and actually stopping the war on drugs and starting the war on pedophiles and rapists, that is when I feel our country is going to be going down the right road. Because we've been going up this high road where we have criminalized people for smoking a little bit of pot worse than we have rapists and child molesters. And it's sick. It's sick to think that a child molester, someone who's ruined a child's life, can fucking get out of prison, set a fucking sign in front of his house, go to his neighbor's house, and tell them that he's a child molester, and live a normal life afterwards. It sickens me to the core, knowing that. And there are going to be some of you who don't like this video and disagrees with it. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. If you disagree with my video and you agree that rapists and child molesters should live a normal, happy life, then I don't give a fuck about your opinion. Think about that. Now, all I gotta say is, Brock Turner better never, ever show his face where I live. If he's anywhere even near me, you guys know what'll happen. Because I cannot control my anger in that kind of situation. So, I'm Ironheart, guys. Think about what I said when you're electing your next politician. We need to stop this shit. We need to start fighting back against corrupt judges and corrupt city officials that think it's okay if someone has money that they can do whatever the hell they want to people. Because it's sick. And, yeah. So, I'm Ironheart. That's the message of this video. And I am out of here.